Lisa here, and thank you for all my new subscribers. I'm ready to give you another little lesson on, well, it's art in general actually, not just watercolour this week, but it's about doing little mock-ups before you paint your actual painting. So I just want to take you through this because I find when I'm doing my outdoor painting classes, my on plein air, it comes in as a very handy tool for my students to do a little mock-up. It works on their composition, they can improve the composition, they can reduce busy elements of the painting, they can see their colour palette and how that can be used to better benefit. And then when they get to do their actual painting, they've already got sort of that dress rehearsal in their brains of the subject. They can hone in on things that they really want to focus on. So overall, it's a really key thing to lift your paintings, to help you improve your painting. So let's get into it. Hope you have a lovely week and let's be creative. So I'm using this picture that I found. I'm not the photographer and I'm not going to sell the demonstration that I'm showing you today. If I had the idea of selling it, I would have contacted the photographer and said, can I please use this as a base? So I'm sketching the scene up just loosely with a Derwent watercolour pencil as a base. But the important thing is I'm trying to keep my drawing loose and free. I'm being guided by strong angles, and just instead of drawing in a lovely little window here, you can see I'm just blocking in the vertical shape of the window without getting too caught up. I'm trying to flick my eyes from the picture to my drawing page constantly so that I'm picking up major things and not getting caught up in the detail. So I'm using my Derwent smaller palette, the Inktense Derwent palette, and I've just minimized my colors. I'm using the burgundy color and I've got a watered down version to the right of that. Then on the top right I have my brown, and then at the bottom I've got bottom left ultramarine blue. In the center I've just mixed up a warmer orange using the yellow and the red, warm red, and then I've got my yellow on the right bottom corner. I'm wetting the walls, and as you can see here, the colour in my Derwent watercolour pencil is just picking up with some of the water and starting to bleed out. I actually really like that. If you're not a fan, then I suggest you draw with a soft lead pencil or something that obviously isn't a watercolour pencil. Now, my intent here is to have some movement in the walls. I'm going to start with this orange colour at the bottom because I have, if you look at the reference picture, I have a very yellow, rich tile on the ground. So that's going to be reflecting that colour up, and then as I go up, the white wall is going to pick up a bit of the blue reflection off the sky, so that's where my ultramarine blue comes into it. So when you think about painting a white wall, think about the colours that are surrounding it and that can be reflected into it with sunlight. I'm putting in the blue now, just quickly dabbing in my background sky. Mock-ups and studies are a really great time to play around with clouds and skies, because in your head you're going, well, this isn't a keeper, this is a practice, so you're more likely to be bold. You know, throw more water in there, add a bit more intense colour and see how you feel. You can always change it for the main painting. The ground colour gives you a great opportunity to add sunshine into your painting. So I'm tinting it with a little bit more yellow than is actually there, and I'm intensifying that as it comes forward. In this painting, my study of it is going to help me realise where people will tend to look first, where I can make them look first, and that's by adding different colours in different areas, different strengths of colour in different areas, and also what are the key things that I want to capture in this painting. If you could just do one every now and again, it's I guess something for me, it's second nature, because when I get a job to paint something, it's usually a commission or a contract, and I'm getting paid for the result. Now, unfortunately, most beginner painters or watercolorists that I've worked with have that same mental attitude. They are focusing on the result. How good is this going to look? Why isn't it looking the way I want? And there's this dissatisfaction right from the first few minutes of painting. So what I really want to stress is at least let the study be judgment free, except for positive judgments where you can say, oh, is that line straight? Should it be straight? Oh, can this be darker? So you're doing a really good positive analysis of things that you'd like to see improved or different. And in that you go, yep, learnt something, and then you can throw it in the bin. You're not attached to the outcome or the level of effectiveness or efficiency or likeness to the original photo with a colour study or a mock-up. That's the beauty of them. So it may, if it changes your mind about doing them, I hope it does, because they are a little gem in my mind. So I have here on purpose, I've added a lot of that burgundy wine colour into the wall. You can see it's not actually in the photograph, but this is my time to test out colours beyond what I would normally think I would add. Now I'm darkening things up, and I can control how dark they get, or I might take it way too dark, but that will be a lesson learnt. I'm going to fail forward from doing a study every time, because what I learn in the study, what I muck up in the study, I can improve and fix before I do my actual painting. So here I'm trying different variances in the shadow colour itself. I'm starting by adding more intense maroon colour. I'm throwing in a little bit of brown, and then I'm adding in a little bit of ultramarine blue. I'm not expecting the perfect result, but if I don't go this dark in my study, then how will I know that it's dark enough and that I could go a little bit further in the real painting? Also, I usually do very purpley ultramarine blue based shadows, so I'm changing it up because it's a warm painting. I'm actually going into more of a warm burgundy brownish shadow than I normally would do. And that's the time to experiment, not when you're doing the real painting, but when you're doing your study.
So now this gives me an opportunity to do some analysing, and if I really wanted to change it, I would go, where are the points that I'm not happy with? A, the composition, B, the contrast, C, the colour, not necessarily in that order, but looking for, is it working? Is it easy to believe that this surface is vertical, this is flat, or this is stepping up? Is there distance and depth in my painting? I've just missed a bit there. I'm going to just strengthen. I'm using the same palette, but that's too watery. So I'm just using the colours straight out of my intense Derwent palette. And that's allowing me then to put in some really strong marks. And I can start to see that, oh yeah, that's really close. I've got some detail going in here, you know. And that allows me to pull that forward. Another way to do that, if you're not one for brush detailing, you know, get some look here at the paving detail. So if I've got the paving detail in, and it doesn't have to be neat by any means, but what that allows me then is the understanding that, oh, this is really close. I'm actually seeing all of this detail here. And now I understand that this is much further forward than this background area here. And that could just be faded off. And of course you reduce the scale of the marks you're making as you go back. And it could fade off to literally to nothing. So these upright lines would be getting closer to each other as well every time you step back. And that makes my brain understand that's, hey, that's a couple of meters or a meter back. So then I understand the depth in the painting by these visual clues of scale. This is the stuff that doing a mock-up actually helps you understand. And so the benefit of it is far-reaching because it does help with composition, it helps with scale, it helps with, you know, drawing little features and things that draw the eye back into a painting. So you've got so many pluses that they far outweigh, I think, just rushing in and doing a painting and then partway through you think, oh, I've started too far down, or I've painted too far up the page, and you're just missing out on the opportunity to make your painting a little bit better. And my one hope in teaching people to paint is that you can enjoy your painting time, not be so frustrated by not liking what you're doing, first of all, and secondly, not knowing what to do. Maybe you're not sure of the order that you're painting, you're not sure if you're using the right colour, but this is a way to actually, for you to help yourself start to analyse things a little bit better. So hopefully you can see now straight away from that, from me just emphasising those lines a little bit more, and how that distance now is coming. The second benefit of that is that it's now really flattened that off for me, and I can really understand that it's stepping down and then coming across. So it is a little cobble staircase, not flat. And I can go and then play with this study, or if I liked it, I'd just keep going with it actually and go, yeah, I think I can turn this into a nice little painting, you know, because I haven't put anything terribly in the wrong place. I mean, this is sort of blinding me a bit, these two landings here, but I can muck around with them. And first of all, if you want people to look at things, then you add detail to it, like I'm doing here, this light. If you don't want people to look at things, then you don't add the detail so that it has less interest. It won't hold the viewer's eye as much. So these are holding my eye now because I've spoken of them and brought them into my consciousness, but also because that ultramarine blue is not really anywhere down here, because I've reflected the warmth of the tiled floor, ground, and put that in the bottom. The blue is up the top. So what I'm going to do is just erase the amount of power that that blue had. And then just simply by doing that, it blends in a little bit better, and I'm not so stuck with that standing out. So I hope this helps. It's really just a matter of have a play, try things out, try, you know, strengthening areas. And for me, this is like a throwaway, because I go, you know what, I think that's a bit too dark, but hey, I had to have a try. If we don't play and try certain things when we're doing our little studies, then, you know, we're never going to stretch ourselves and be better, because what's going to happen is we're just going to stay in our safe, oh, I like that painting that I did, and so I'm going to keep doing that sort of thing. And that is there's nothing wrong with that, because yes, you will enjoy your painting more, but you won't stretch yourself. Now, my tendency is to neaten up, and as you can see, as I'm chatting here away to you guys, I'm adding more and more detail into things that I really probably shouldn't be doing. So I'm going to stop before it gets a hold of me. It doesn't matter how long you've been painting, if you've got a natural urge to do something, it will find a way to find you while you're painting. And my advice there is just be aware of it, because I just caught myself then. I hope you've enjoyed that, and please leave me comments and questions if there's points that I've missed that I could help you with. Okay, thank you, bye.